Okay, so I'm going to do a video showing off my system at the moment, but I also want to do a sort of first look and semi overview of my laptop right here. Now, I got two other displays on and an external keyboard. This is the old-fashioned keyboard from 2011, and then I got the new mouse. Now, you can see right here that I have some quite interesting plugs going on. I have a USB-C hub right here, and I have a standard USB 3.0 to powered hub. It's also going to be powered or non-powered. At the moment, I have it non-powered, and then I have a plug here that runs to a external exhaust vent. And then on one of these plugs is for this. This is a laptop cooler. I have also an external SSD plugged in here, and I have a flash drive plugged into the back of this. And I also have a display, multi-display port. Although this only has, I can only plug in one, but at the moment I have DVI to it, and then I have HDMI out. As you can see, there's my external exhaust. It's actually keeping nice and cool. As you can see, it's less than 80 degrees. That's because the fan's not doing anything with cooling the system. It's not running, but when I have like 4 to 5 different games running at the same time on this, 1 integrated graphics and like 4 on GPU power, this thing, phenomenal. Crazy amount of ability with it. And I don't drop any frames per second on any of the games. And I run this on max, and either from all fans, which I can switch mode from all 4 small fans to 1 large fan in the middle, or all fans at the same time, and have the exhausts on auto, and it just keeps less than 100 Fahrenheit degrees. So it's pretty nice and cool. Now, that's the biggest thing I wanted to talk about. Is one thing that a lot of people seem to forget, especially with laptops, is heat issues. Now, this is a little excessive that a lot of people would be like, oh, that's a little big on the laptop cooling system, but this is a desktop replacement for me. Technically, it's actually another laptop replacement because my other one is down here from an Acer Aspire E5. And if you're wondering why the display is on top of the screen broke. So I don't care about having the big HD TV on top of it. I just run the external screen to that, and I can switch options from main this to that easy. But some people wouldn't want this as a desktop replacement. Some get it for just as a laptop and a game on it. But one thing I want to talk about is heat issue, which a lot of people seem to forget about laptops. A lot of reviewers go, oh, well, the heat temperatures stay below this and this and this. That's cool and all, but the one thing a lot of reviewers do not seem to get is that they're working with the bare bones of the laptop. They're not putting any on any pads and whatnot, and they're using a stress test program to run the laptop at maximum performance, and that's cool. But when they do reviews, they don't tell people the critical issue about what the laptop is doing. The smaller you get with a laptop, the more excessive the laptop has to work itself. Meaning that the laptop has to perform to push out all that heat issue. And if you just have the bare bone laptop, it's gonna sound like a jet engine. Now, there are some laptops that actually are bigger and they don't sound as much. But a lot of people say that, oh, they don't like the bigger ones because it's heavier and thicker and just ugh. And so people look at the Razer Blade Stealth and the Razer Blade Pro and such forth, and they go, oh yeah, I'm going to get that because it's thin, it's lightweight, and all that jazz. But one critical thing they don't realize is that when you go thinner and smaller, it makes it harder for those fans to be able to blow out that excessive heat that builds up inside of the machine. Not to mention, since the design is all metal, that causes it to use that as a external heat ability, and that sometimes doesn't really work very well with small laptops. And so cooling is really hard on those suckers. And for me, I would definitely say if you get one of those, especially if you're gonna go, even if you're going around or just using it as a desktop replacement, if you get the Razer Pro or Stealth or whatever, small form factor laptop, gaming laptops that are thinner than this thing, and external exhaust fans are not just recommended, they're required. Because those are going to help cool the system down a lot better than trying to use just the standard laptop. Not to mention, a lot of laptops they don't really take into the design of these kind of positions of what laptops are actually built of. A lot of people just go, okay, we're going to get a laptop, boom, slam it on the desk, and start trying to game on it. But they also forget another thing. This is how a laptop looks. It's slammed down so small to the surface of that flat surface place that there is barely any breathable venting system to get under that laptop and be able to use those vents to suck in air and blow out the back of the laptop. So when you slam the laptop down into this flat surface, you basically smother the laptop's venting ability. So any kind of laptop for small form factor or mid-size form factor, a cooling or some kind of raised effect will be required, because that will help lift the rear of the laptop and let those vents breathe. Now, if you get something like the MSI Titan or something thick like that, now some of those laptops actually have their own kind of lifting system in the back. They're actually more lifted versus the front. So it gives that kind of venting system a lot more airflow. Not to mention, their vents are, instead of being this tiny, they're actually this big. That is more than 3 times more venting power than a Razer Blade Stealth or Pro can do. So as you can see, that's a big amount of difference. So what that means is that, like the vents in the back of the Alienware, instead of being this thin, they're that thick. So that's 2 times much more heat ventilation and less fan requirement to cool the laptop down. So like MSI Titan or something that thick, or Acer Predator or something like that, the larger heat fins allow less power to push out that heat, so less fan requirement to use. But if you want to max out the fans, you can still do that, as there are some options on those kind of laptops that you could just go boop, and it goes like that. But of course, some people don't like doing that. So like I said, having this, something kind of lifting the rear of the laptop up, is definitely an option. for the bigger laptops. If you're going for a small form factor, that's not just an option, it's required. And that's what I would say. I wouldn't just go, oh yeah, it's kind of keeps things cool, but fans are excessive. I would still say this is required to reduce the noise effect and to keep the laptop more cooler. And if you want to keep the laptop even more cooler and not damage the laptop and reduce the heat impact on the keyboard, especially a lot of people use the keyboard on the laptop instead of external ones, external exhaust fans. That will improve the coolant and give you manual control of the system ability itself. So, there you guys go. A critical key piece for laptops is really think about what kind of laptop you're going to get. Don't just go, oh, well, the Razer Stealth is like the most popular laptop in the world. I'm going to get that because it looks cool too. And I think the same thing for the other people. It's like, awesome. Don't be an idiot. Oops. Don't be an idiot. Research and figure out what laptop is going to suit you, not what other people are suited for. That way, you don't screw yourself and going, oh, well, I got this now, and it's just like super fucking loud, and it's just like, ugh. Man, do I really want to game on something that small and that really loud? I mean, it's like, you just bought this entire thing, and it's like, oh, man. So, buy something that's going to be to your liking after you do your research and figure out what kind of fan laptop is more quieter and more suited to your needs than just running out buying the most popular laptop in the world going, yay, I got the most coolest laptop in the world. It's like, woo! And then finding out that it's like pretty crummy for your tastes. And then you're screwed paying a fortune on these kind of pricey laptops. Anyways, peace, and hope that's some good information for a lot of people that look into gaming laptops and jazz like that. Don't just believe a bunch of reviews. You do your review, and you do your research. Figure it out. Anyways, peace.